Before I start the video, don't forget to comment which car you think is going to win this race. Also, come on, subscribe to the channel, find us on Instagram, let's do this. This is a 1966 Ford Fairlane GTA. And people tend to forget about the Fairlane because in 1966 the Mustang was selling like crazy and the Fairlane was seen by some as a grandma car. But you know what my grandma has to say about the Mustang?
I f***ing hate horses. Seabiscuit can eat shit.
And we don't really see too many Fords in pure stock racing. I don't know why that is, they just don't seem to show up, and that makes me very sad. But at least we got this gem, and come on, you guys know that this car is absolutely stunning. And on a Saturday night, I'm not swiping on Tinder or trying to slide into someone's DMs or even hitting the club. I'm at home thinking about this 66 Ford Fairlane.
This guy moaned at least this loud. Oh!
In the 66 Fairlane GTA, the only engine option was a 390 cubic inch V8. It had a compression ratio of 10.5 to 1, and that monster put out 335 horsepower at 4,800 RPM and 427 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 RPM. As much as you think the A in GTA stands for awesome! Totally awesome! It actually stands for automatic, like an automatic transmission. You could get a manual transmission in these cars, but then it was simply called the Fairlane GT. It didn't have that fine A on the end, and there's nothing like a nice A, automatic transmission. And that fine A was a new for 1966 Ford Select Shift Cruise-O-Matic, which most people know as the C6 automatic transmission. It was a 3-speed and it had an incredibly heavy rotating assembly. Arguably, it robbed more horsepower than any other automatic transmission of the day, but the trade-off was that it could take a ton of abuse. 325 gears were standard on the GTA, which was pretty meh. But our featured car has been upgraded to a set of curb weight for the GTA was average for the era, coming in at 3,686 pounds. The 66 Fairlane GTs sold alright, with production numbers just over 33,000 units. But then in 1967, that decreased all the way down to 18,670 cars. And since this thing was starting to sink like the Titanic, well, that's why you got that redesign in 68.
I want you to draw me like one of your French girls, wearing only this.
Motor Trend magazine tested a 1966 Ford Fairlane GTA in October of 1965, and it ran 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds and the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds at 92 miles per hour. But enough talk about this absolutely gorgeous 1966 Ford Fairlane GTA. Let's check out its opponent. This is a 1974 Pontiac Firebird Formula 455. And I can already hear some of you guys screaming, "That's a smog era car!"
Not fair!
You guys, this is Pontiac, and if there's any manufacturer from the smog years that actually has a chance of taking care of business, it's them. They weren't giving up on muscle cars just yet, they were definitely letting it roll. As I already mentioned, this Firebird has a 455, and unfortunately in 1974, the compression ratio was only 8 to 1.
No!
Even with that compression ratio, it still made 250 horsepower at 4,000 RPM, and that's around 310 gross horsepower, so if you're keeping track, that's only 25 less than the Ford. But we have to remember that this was 1970s Pontiac, and around that time, they were all about that torque. Not to be confused with that twerk. We're talking 380 pound-feet of torque at 2,800 RPM, and those are net ratings. Gross ratings, it's about 470. So Pontiac definitely has the torque advantage on this one. But there's something else. Did you guys happen to notice that fast tag on the windshield? That means this car has a few extra tricks up its sleeve. In fast drag racing, you can make any modification that you want as long as it looks stock. So that means anything internal in the engine, you can do whatever you like. And I saw online that the owner had posted a few of the modifications he's done to this car. Nothing crazy, but a few things that'll definitely wake it up. We're talking a 72 intake manifold, ram air exhaust manifolds, a 3-inch X-pipe exhaust, and probably most important, a custom roller cam. So I guess that makes this car kind of like the character Dr. Elsa Schneider from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. She seemed very innocent at first, and then you find out she likes being choked and biting people's ears. Then we got old Firebird lurking over here like, yo, what's up, C6? I got a 3-speed auto myself. Turbo 400! Standard rear gearing in a 74 Firebird with a 455 and an automatic transmission was a 308. But luckily this car has been upgraded to a set of 342 gears, and that should work really well with its torque curve. The weight of the Firebird, well, that's not so good. The second generation was kinda like your boy Cars and Zebras on Quarantine. It definitely got a lot heavier, and it also got a lot weaker. But that's alright, I just tell everybody that I'm bulking up. And this car's curb weight is 3,849 pounds. But enough talk about these two cars. Let's see what they can do on the drag strip. Just some additional information, it was 92 degrees that day on the track and very humid, and also these cars were not paired together. This was just a time trial race. As I already mentioned, they were participating in completely different classes. And in an absolute nail-biter, the Firebird takes the win, running the quarter mile in 13.45 seconds at 105.56 miles per hour. But the Fairlane was only 1/100th behind, running a 13.46 at 102.58 miles per hour. Let's check that out one more time. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, find us on Instagram, and I'll see you at the next one.